I'm going to repeat what I said out there while I was eating lunch, and they had the resumption of the impeachment process on, and then they had somebody who I believe was named Herrera, or they were talking about this discussion, this notice that had been made yesterday by somebody named Herrera, and then they had Schumer on, and then they had somebody come on after him. But by that time, I was on my way out of the room because what was being confirmed was a few things. A, my understanding is that when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, she did not cede when she left. She did not relinquish her helm as Secretary of State, and that it's actually been a problem for subsequent departments of state since she officially left her role. There's a transference and a transition in command that happens when somebody steps down or leaves, and it is supposed to be conveyed to the person who comes in after them. And she didn't do that. The phone just rang in the other room. I'm not going to get it. It only rang once. Nice, huh? She did not step down. She did not convey to the next person. So every Secretary of State since then has had to deal with her refusal to cede. Not only that, my understanding is that she hooked something up where she didn't even cede the role of a first lady. And one of the reasons why Donald Trump and Melania Trump do not sleep in the same room, which was pointed out by Bob Woodward in his biography of Donald Trump, is because she's squatting. Melania, Hillary Clinton, has been squatting on the office of the First Lady the entire time that Donald Trump and Melania Trump were in the White House. That's my understanding. And my understanding is that there are other people who know, and they banked on it. Because sometime in 2019, there was supposed to be a coup. Now, if Hillary Clinton had been acknowledged and sworn in as president, what that would have meant would have taken one form. And I believe I understand some understandings that people had of what form that would take. And it was part of what the contestation of the TPP was as well. And the whole actual situation surrounding the relationship between NAFTA and CAFTA and PAHO, right? But we aren't anywhere near there yet because we're still getting into what it means if you're the Secretary of State and you just refuse to relinquish your role as Secretary and allow for an appropriate transition into the next person filling your position. And you also have a co occurring process of attempting to squat your former role as First Lady. Did Hillary Clinton also refuse to relinquish the helm as Senator of New York? Is this why when Schumer came on the TV, and pretty much every time Schumer is being broadcast live, something happens where I'm speaking at the same time he is about something totally different than he is? I've noticed this. There are certain people, every time I see a live telecast of them, I automatically am I automatically have a currency going. I speak over them at the same time as if there is a queue of currencies. And then the one they're working is connected to an account with me. So I start giving my understanding of the analysis at the same time they're going. And this has been going on for a while. And that's what happened. That's why I left the room after Schumer came on. Because I'm like, wow, I'm totally talking over Schumer. And it's very serious what I'm saying. Because after you get through the situation of potentially Hillary Clinton being the one who was squatting the Department of State since she was at the helm and impacting what's happened with every subsequent Secretary of State, and also doing some weird first lady thing where she's squatting Melania Trump. So if Donald Trump engages with his duties as president with the first lady, then he's doing it concurrent to somebody laundering his wife's identity for a former first lady. This is very, very devious. This is very, very serious because then it calls into question the command of every Secretary of State since she was in office and what justification she had for maintaining a sit, or rather a squat, upon people that were supposed to step into that position after she left. She is not the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is a cabinet position that serves upon appointment by the president at the behest of the president in his role as a representative of the people. You do not get to claim an office and just make it yours and enforce your specific personal will and then try to bribe other people into abrogating responsibility for the duties of being in a particular office. That office does not belong to her, it belongs to us. She was merely a representative of us. And I know I won't cede. Nobody will talk to me. Nobody will acknowledge I even exist while all these other people are using me for all kinds of other things and trying to get me to believe stuff that's completely patently, completely false. It's completely false what they try to get me to believe. You give me written documentation of a rule, and then literally right in front of my face, you show off how flagrantly you're not going to follow that rule. And if I ask you information, every single answer is, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Why would I cede? Well, that's not what you did to Hillary Clinton. This is different. You didn't torment her. This is a part of a long-term orchestration of a kind of solidification and concentration of power that somebody thought they were entitled to wield without demonstrating they had the capacity to actually handle the challenges of the position. And one of those challenges is, why do you think it's appropriate to ex post facto try to maintain sway over two different very important leadership roles in the United States at the same time? Why is Hillary Clinton, or the legacy of Hillary Clinton, supposed to be dominating both the office of the First Lady and the Secretary of State at the same time, while contesting results from a presidential election? This is not acceptable. Did she do the same thing with the state of New York? Because I am constantly getting diverted to New York. Why? Because what came up while Schumer was speaking was another understanding of what the real problem is, which is that in S-Con Res 5, at the time I first found it last Friday, when I understand there was a formal review and a memo issued about a committee review that happened this past week, that one of the things that I noticed were there were several amendments. And of these amendments, where votes had been recorded, the votes were split 50-50. You know what that means? The President of the Senate is called upon to cast the deciding vote. That's the power of the President of the Senate, one of many powers and responsibilities of the President of the Senate. So what does it mean? That on the day where the acknowledgement of the Electoral College votes are to be confirmed, the President of the Senate says he does not have the authority. That's what he did. He ceded. And when he ceded, what happened? Who had the authority? It wasn't the rest of the Senate, was it? It wasn't the Capitol Police, was it? Why did you not allow, or rather, why did the House not impeach Mike Pence? Why, when Senator Charles Schumer is giving his discussion or his perspective at an official impeachment proceeding of a no longer sitting president, why is the current I'm on and the currency I'm working with understanding that the impeachable offense was that the President of the Senate ceded when it came time to cast a deciding vote, when he said he had no authority? Is it his acknowledgement of a vote of no confidence in the Senate, and hence then the authority is, as it has always been, with the people, and the people that were on site and ready to assert their authority then claimed the Hill? Why is Mike Pence not the one being impeached? Is it because it calls into consideration and impugns the character of the Senate overall and questions the authority of the members of the United States Senate? And if that's the case, which is what I understand it is, the Senate does not have the authority to engage this proceeding. The Senate does not have the authority to impeach a no longer sitting president. And in the course of this contrived impeachment process, what has also happened is that Donald Trump was not at the inauguration of Joseph Biden. There was no transfer of command between Donald Trump and Joseph Biden. And that's the situation we're in now. This is a very, very serious matter. I'm sorry that I'm not as inclined to play along with your alien fetish right now.